Oh, hello. It's me again, speaking to you through the microphone. The Fish's Bargain, Episode 5. Here is the long line of shaman leading up to Cumix. And he's imagining, with his newfound powers of imagination, of numerical. The Fish's Bargain, Episode 5. Here is Cumix at the top of the line of shaman, and he's imagining the entire line now with his newfound abilities to imagine numbers, his numerological, conceptual imagination. The Fish's Bargain, Episode 5. Now remember last week, Cumix here has just learned how to count up to 1,000. So, the most important thing to him is his role as shaman in the village. And he's imagining himself, that's me, and the entire line of shaman leading all the way back down to the beginning of time. And he's imagining every person living 50 years, roughly. So 2 people equals 100 years. There's 100. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 years, plus his father and grandfather, that's 1,000 years. So he can now picture himself in context, spiritually and historically, as shaman. I have seen this tower of ancestors in a vision. I did not realize I could count that high, but still, I have no need to track the lives of all those people. But now, Chalk says, you need to know how to count this many years into the future. Remember, in 2.5 millennia, the monsters will come. And here they are. Screaming, gold! Where's the gold? They're looking for gold. But I have no calendar large enough to count that far ahead. How can I tell my people when to prepare? You can see the grid in your mind. Can't you just build a calendar to match it? Says Chalk there. And here's a concept of the master shaman and a giant calendar compared to his. No, I am just a shaman. The priests in Temple City are the only ones who can count big-time who can keep big-time calendars. This is big-time calendar. He's just small-time. To Cumix's people, a calendar was the connection between the human world and the underworld, where the gods dwelt. I went to Temple City when I was a child. My shaman took me there for my initiation ceremony. The long count calendar is a giant wall filled with clay tablets. Here's the clay tablets, and here's his little head in relation to them. So it's a huge wall. Their calendars do not count each year as it happens. Only important events like wars or the death of a king. And Chalk wonders, but how do they know when something happened exactly? Cumix explains, it's marked in reference to the last event, like this. King Pictolax won the war during the winter solstice, 20 cycles of Omaha before his reign began. So this is an image of that. 20 would be 2 rocks. And here's him holding the scepter of his reign. Look at that large grid again, says Chalk. What if we made a millennium-sized calendar where every box represented 1 year? So we're going to look at, just to remind you, this in terms of this. And Cumix is dismayed. That would take up too much space. But what if we used small stones? No, Chalk, only the movements of the gods and kings are tracked by the year. We cannot symbolize a year with a little stone. The gods would become very angry. Of course, he's talking to a god, so this is irony. Frustrated by Cumix's thick-headed approach, Chalk excused himself. And there he is, swimming away, and there's Cumix looking a little glum. On his way out through the roots, he made one last comment. These words would remain with Cumix for many days to follow. What does it matter to me if you use a stone or a bean? My only desire is to feel your worship. Friday morning, first day of Hanaha's return to the underworld. This is an event in their culture that's very important, and on the calendar that's marked. Cumix awoke with a terrible fever, again, and there's Sakchen snoring, and he thinks, maybe if I made a special batch of chodol for Chalk, he will heal me. So, back in the cave. You seem different today. Are you ill? Yes, Lord. Today we will share the chodol, and I will show you what time looks like. As Cumix rolled the bitter, greasy lump against the roof of his mouth, his vision began to expand. He saw the tree above him and each individual leaf. Ooh, this is strong stuff. And there it is. The modest mangrove became the tree of time, with all thought and non-thought flowing like sap through the roots, the branches, and the leaves, nourishing the world with its from the underworld. Pumping, its is the fundamental energy that permeates life, as I said before. Pumping the underworld with this world's life force. So you see how this represents how the underworld feeds this world. But as soon as the vision appeared, it slipped away. Wondrous, isn't it? Yes, Lord. You have only glimpsed a portion of the truth. What do you mean, Lord? To gain full knowledge, you must leave your body completely. I have a proposition. Here it is. Starting today, Hanaha will return to the underworld for a short period. You may join him if we switch places. If you and I switch bodies, how will I fit? Let's try to figure this out. That's right. You may enter the void for the length of Hanaha's transit and learn about the true nature of time. Besides, if you really want to learn how to count efficiently, you must know the value of the void. Numbers are useless without reference to the absence of quantity. How will I know? How will I get there? How will I know when to return? Don't worry, just follow Hanaha. But how will you know when to return? No problem. See, there's the fish talking to him. No problem. Just tell me how to get to your village from here. Chalk has no idea what he's getting into, but he thinks it's no problem. So they're going to continue on. I've made a path through the swamp. This is him describing how to get to the village. It will lead you directly to my hut. When you reach the village, just ask for Sakchen. He's my acolyte. You can rely on him. So we're agreed, Cumix. Yes, Lord. Okay, right here under the mangrove is where they've made this bargain. They're going to switch places. Cumix is going to go to the underworld. Chalk is going to take his place as shaman of this world, of this village, so that he can actually learn what taste means and what it means to be a human. And that is the last page of the story, but there are 3 more pages. So tune in next week to find the bonus pages I have at the end of the comic. Mark my page here. See, glimpse. And I hope you return. I hope you come back to enjoy this last page. I hope you come back to enjoy the last pages. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I look forward to sharing the last few pages with you next week.